another episode of Uncovering the Gems. My name is Marcy Graham. I'm the Marketing Manager and Public Information Officer for the Gem of the Desert. Today we have Council Member Steve Sanchez. Steve, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we're excited, right?
I'm excited.
This is a special podcast because we are getting ready for State of the City, which is always a great event, and we get to discuss all the things that we're doing and have done in the city of La Quinta. So this one's a little bit different. We're gonna chat with council about why they love La Quinta, which is very easy.
Absolutely.
To
First
relay.
of all, I like your studio.
Oh, thank you.
Where'd you
Thank
get the space for this?
I do like the studio. It's very cool. We make sure we set the bar
That's
in La
right.
Quinta with all things. So let's talk a little bit about. We're gonna go backwards a little bit. So we know, most of us know, you didn't grow up here.
No.
So how did you wind up in La Quinta specifically? And what made you choose La Quinta?
Why stay here, right?
Yeah. Why is this your home? Why are you here?
So back a long time ago, when I was 19, I enlisted in the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps said, you know what, we're going to take this Jersey kid and put him in California. And I did 8 years in the Marine Corps, and after that, I decided to stay in the desert. I was in 29 Palms and in Camp Pendleton, and because of being in 29 Palms, I discovered the Coachella Valley, or Palm Springs, and I didn't really understand how it all worked out here.
Yeah.
I would just come down to the desert and go back to the base on the weekends, type of a thing. And then when my time came up, after I came back from Iraq in 2004, I decided, you know what, I like it out here. I like it in the desert. I'm used to the desert already.
Yeah.
I was done shoveling snow.
Yep.
I was done with traffic, done with crime.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? This is a nice place. And the heat, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah,
right?
you do. You
After a while.
acclimate.
I decided this is a beautiful area. And so around 2009, I knew about La Quinta, but I started renting in La Quinta. And since 2009, that's when I actually made the city of La Quinta my home. And I've been here ever since. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
What made you decide to get into government?
Yeah. So when I first got out of the Marine Corps, when I EAS, as we say, I wanted to continue my service to my community and my country, and I had just served 8 years. And one thing I noticed was there's poverty everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Or there's a need for help everywhere. And when I
Right.
was in Iraq, we had some downtime, and we would help rebuild schools, repaint, things like that.
Yeah.
And that was rewarding in a way. So when I came back, I was like, okay, well, how can I give back? I was missing that part inside of me that was being fulfilled by helping others.
Yeah.
Right? And so I got
Service
involved.
oriented.
Exactly. And so I got involved with nonprofits. I became a big brother.
Oh, yeah.
I did that for a long time. And anybody who's ever served on a nonprofit knows whenever you volunteer for one, somehow they all find you, right? Every other nonprofit that exists finds you.
It's true.
And so you end up doing another nonprofit.
Right.
You're volunteering for like 3, 4, 5 different nonprofits.
Yeah.
And the way the Coachella Valley set up, the local electeds are pretty involved with
Yeah.
the nonprofits in the community. So you become friends with them.
Yeah.
And I started getting to know the council members and state senators and all the electeds and of all the areas that represent the Coachella Valley. And we just got involved that way, right? And
I love
started
that.
understanding the needs that were happening around the valley, the different issues in different cities. And then I joined the Chamber of Commerce board.
Yeah.
Back then, there was multiple chambers, and so I was
Yeah.
involved with many chambers. And the chambers are involved with the cities a lot.
Right.
So my path just started going towards the government and community world. And because of that, then I started understanding more of how local governments work, their interactions with the nonprofits and the business community.
Yeah.
And then the different agencies that exist in the
Yeah.
state, county, and the cities and the regions. And next thing you know, I'm a city councilman, So I blinked, and then all of a sudden I'm on the city council. But that's kind of how it happened, right? It just happened that my path was being pulled towards this route, right? The government route. And it's just another way of me helping my community just at the government level.
I love that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So let's talk. I mean, this is, like we said, it's a little bit of a love letter to La Quinta. Beyond what your official duties are, what are some of your personal hidden gems here in La Quinta? Something that you love, whether it's a place or a thing or a activity, and it's something that is you recommend this to anybody who's visiting.
Yeah, I think our mountains actually, whenever I have guests or friends or family come visit, they're in awe of like,
Yeah.
how are you like living inside of a mountain, right?
Yeah.
Surrounded by mountains. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of our backyard, and we can actually go walk on them if you want to.
For sure.
Yeah, and so some of my friends don't because they don't. They like to admire.
Yeah, from
afar.
afar.
Yeah, but I have a lot. They're like, yeah, let's go do it. Let's go. And I have to remind them, okay, we're in the summer right now, so we have to go
Yeah.
4 or 5 in the morning,
Yep.
right? So noontime walks in the desert,
Right.
a little hard. So if you want to go walk, we got to do it in the summer. But there's still time to go walk in the mountains
Yeah.
early in the morning. My dogs love
Yeah.
the trails out here.
For sure.
I always try to find whatever I can do with my dogs.
Yeah.
Outdoor activity. I tell a lot of friends that come visit La Quinta and a lot of the areas in the Coachella Valley. It's a very dog friendly area,
Mm-hmm.
and our restaurants and businesses are very open to having dogs come into their
Yes.
establishments or sit outside. And,
Yeah.
with their owners. And
No, we're
I like
super
that.
dog friendly here. I
Yeah.
think that is it's surprising to a lot of people
Yeah.
who come and visit. I think, kind of going back to your comment about our mountains, it's always interesting when we have people who visit and literally they're like, you can almost touch those mountains. And
Yeah.
we're like, yeah. And I think those of us who live and work here, we kind of take it for granted.
Totally.
We see it all the time. And then sometimes you take a minute and go, wow, they really are like right here, and it's beautiful to look at.
Yeah. Well, at 4 a.m. when I walk my dogs, whenever I walk outside, literally, kind of what you just said, I always stop
Yeah.
for like a few seconds, take a deep breath in, look around,
Yeah.
take it in, and then we start our walk.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you want to take it in.
Yeah. I think sometimes when we have, beautiful sunsets and the colors all come out, and we'll walk outside and just kind of take a minute to go, whoa,
Yeah.
like crazy.
Well, you'll see on Instagram or Facebook, everybody says, go look outside.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And,
For sure.
everybody does it. We all
Yeah.
do it because you're right. We have some beautiful sunsets and sunrises. And
We're super lucky here.
yeah, we are super lucky.
I think too, we talk about, things that make up the gem of the desert, right? And a lot of that is our community, our residents. So we talk about community. So how do you see La Quinta's community spirit, and what examples come to mind that highlight the sense of community?
Yeah, it's a great community that we have here in La Quinta. We're a family, the residents. They're very active and involved.
Yep.
Whether they come to city council or the email in. But we also see it whenever there's events all around town.
Yeah.
And other council members or elected officials or community members always talk about, there's La Quinta, right? There's the beautiful La Quinta, because, whenever we're acknowledged, we don't just sit quiet. We cheer on that we were acknowledged,
we're
right?
proud.
We're proud of our city. We're like the Marine Corps of the Coachella Valley of cities, right? But you can tell when people are from La Quinta because they're always talking about their city.
Yeah.
They always we brag about our city.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah, we rightfully so. And the council brags about the city because it's not the council, it's the community, it's the residents, right? It's the businesses, it's the volunteers and the visitors and the staff.
Yeah.
That all makes up the city. It's not just us. We can't do this without everybody.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We need everybody's participation and buy-in into their own city, right?
Yes, I mean, we have a video series that this podcast kind of dovetailed off of, and it was called Uncovering the Gems. And the whole video series is about that the gems are actually the people that make up the city,
Yeah, totally.
right? It's the residents, it's
Right.
the business owners, it's people who work here.
Yeah.
They are the gems,
Exactly.
And I think too, one of the things that sticks out to me when I think of community, and something that you're familiar with is, we had quite the tropical storm last year, and I remember seeing the community coming together to fill sandbags for those who couldn't.
That's right.
Right? Whether they were elderly or had and unable to do it, the community rallied together and showed up at the fire stations to just go, oh, you need sandbags and you can't lift that?
Right.
We got you.
Yep.
We see it when there's whether it's an event, like you said, and people are rallying together. I think that there is such a strong sense of community, and with that comes passion.
Yeah.
Right? We have such passionate residents, and I love that they get involved. They, like you said, they come to council meetings, they're at events. We have community workshop every year, and we get great turnout with our community input. And then let's talk a little bit about the community workshop, because I think people don't realize that, like, council and staff, we get that input and we take action on
Absolutely. Yeah. We value that input and we rely on it, because without the community's input, we're just kind of guessing, right, based on our own what we want to see.
Right.
And it may or may not align all the time with what the community wants at that moment, but those community workshops are helpful.
Yeah.
Like you said, we actually take that and take action on it.
Yeah.
Right. We put a part of our strategic plans, and then we come up with policies and plans and help fund whatever it is. And it's actually very interesting to see what is on the mind of the residents at the time when they decide what their top 5 or 10 issues are. Because as council members, we sit on different commissions and committees around the valley, regionally, and around the state. And then how does that trickle down to the local residents? Does it match with what their concerns are?
Well, and sometimes we get surprised with what is something that they're wanting to see completed or started or whatever.
Totally.
And we kind of go, okay, that's, and it really is. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? Like we're listening to all of it, because not everything's perfect, and that's in every single place.
Correct. Right.
And so we try to be perfect.
Right.
We would love to strive to be perfect, but we have to hear it all, and we do. But we also take into consideration, what can we do? Right? What can we do, and what's going to be a way bigger undertaking that it's not going to happen right away, but it's on the docket, right? And so I think those community workshops are a great opportunity for council and staff to not only hear the feedback and have those conversations, but also educate our residents on, hey, this is why it's delayed. Because there's other entities involved, or the budget is not, we want to be smart with our budget dollars, and so we have to figure out, can we get some funding for assistance or whatever. So I think it's a great opportunity for this kind of back and forth collaboration with our residents to really, we're getting educated on what they want, and they're getting educated on how some of these processes work.
And that's a great point, because often, I think, just explain to like residents and the community the process sometimes of how some things work or why something's delayed. They just want to know. Right? They just want to know, like, okay, this is taking that long because, not that we don't know it's an issue, but because of these other factors. Kind of like our High 111.
Yeah, I was just thinking that too.
Yeah, we had the money to fix the road a long time ago, but in order to not drain from our own general funds, because, well, fortunately, we have the ability to do that because we're a very fiscally sound city.
Correct.
But working with the federal government and our congressman, he was able to secure about half of the funding for that, right? So,
well, we also realized too, with that funding, yes, we were able to do it. However, with this additional funding, we were like, hey, we could actually go deeper, if you will. So now where it's pulverizing, it's all of that's happening, so that this doesn't have to get addressed again for a longer period of time.
Exactly.
So now it's like, it's a little bit more money, but it's going to last us longer.
Correct. Exactly.
And when you get assistance from anywhere, there's usually some rules and regulations and stipulations, and we get it. So sometimes it's like, hey, we needed additional reviews or additional entities to become involved in it, which then delays the process. But all of it's good.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, anytime you accept money from the government, strings attached sometimes, or not even in a bad way. It's just extra eyes, or they have their requirements, right? So in this case, we got it from the federal government, so they have their requirements, and we have to be able to meet those standards, plus state standards and other standards, right? So it all has to be combined together. But those are just some of the things, right? That's why, for instance, we talked about Highway 111, why it took so long to get done. It's not that we didn't want it done. We were just looking for other funding mechanisms to help fund that. So then,
because it's not cheap,
right? It's not cheap, and then so that way the funds that we saved from our general fund for that project could be used for something else. And there's always, here's the thing: there's always something that needs to be done around the city, and
we're never done.
We're never done.
What's a specific annual event that you particularly look forward to every year here that we do?
Yeah, there's a couple. One, it's going to be the city's birthday.
Yep.
Right, because this is your city.
Yep.
Right? And it's another year around the sun.
Yep.
For all of us, and one more year, and another 20 years, and 50 years, and let her keep going on and on. Right. So that's what I look forward to, just because it commemorates how long we're going, and that we're moving in the right direction, and we're still sovereign and strong and moving forward in the right direction. And then it's the Veterans Day ceremony that we have, because we get to honor local La Quinta residents who have served their country.
For sure.
And we memorialize them on a plaque.
Yes.
With a plaque at our Veterans Day ceremony.
Yeah.
And their name will live on forever as long as the city's around, right? So it kind of combines the both. But those are my, if I had to pick one, I guess two, those would be my two favorite ones that I have. Just one thing I realized is we have a lot of veterans in our city.
Yes.
And quite frankly, we have a lot of veterans that haven't submitted their names
100%.
for Veterans Day. So if you're a veteran or a family member of a veteran or a friend of a veteran, you need to nudge them to reach out to the city and get their name on the plaques. Yeah. Because it's a
legacy.
It's a legacy, and we wanna recognize them.
Yeah, for sure.
We wanna recognize them.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Let's talk about kind of jumping around a little bit. You had talked earlier about when you were getting involved in local government, but before that you were volunteering for nonprofits. So right now, how would you say, or how would you describe how you engage with the local community in your own personal time? You used to be a big brother. Are there any other local organizations or clubs that you're currently involved with?
So city government takes up a lot of time.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah. So being on actual nonprofit boards or community boards, since I was elected, I had to step off, just because we don't, as a council members, we don't just meet twice a month, right?
Right.
First and third Tuesday of the month.
Yep.
California is interesting because there's the state legislature, you have the county governments, and then you have the city governments. But in between that, there's a whole host of other entities that exist, comprised of all those members, right?
Yeah.
County supervisors and city council members. So when I became a council member, you're as busy as you can be.
Yeah.
Or you want to be, right? There's always
Well, you still work, too.
Right, and I still have to work and pay my bills because
most people don't realize that mayor
city
council
there's like a stipend. For the most part, it pays for your gas.
Right, and it's not your full-time job.
Correct, but being a council member, you're a member, or you can be a member of many commissions and committees, right?
Correct.
So I sit on a lot of independent regional commissions that, quite frankly, play an important role on shaping local government and regional governments. I sit on a lot of those, as do my colleagues.
Correct.
Right? And my colleagues in other cities as well.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of things.
A lot of responsibilities.
There's a lot of responsibilities, and so because I am a council member in La Quinta, by that nature, I represent La Quinta at other regional areas or other, even other cities when they have events or community workshops or forums or anything like that. We get involved because it's not just La Quinta, it's the other 9 cities in the county that really make up the Coachella Valley. And the success of the other ones really help the success of ours, right?
It really is that collaboration of
really
everybody working together to achieve like the same goal. Yeah. Right. As we are a thriving city, we're we're a thriving valley.
Yeah.
What is something or an aspect of La Quinta that you're particularly excited to see grow or evolve in the coming years?
Yeah, it's interesting because we're pretty much outgrown, right? We're built out. We have a few pocket areas around town on 111, that 111 corridor to see how that's going to change in 20, 30, 40 years.
Yep.
That's a good question because as a council member now, I often have to think 20, 30 years down the line, right? Just as council members prior to me have done. And whenever I'm making a decision, I have to think, okay, it may not impact you as a resident now, but in future councils it will, right?
Correct.
And we see that all the time. Hence, like specific plans and
Right.
so we see all of that.
Yeah.
Those were created decades ago.
Yeah.
Right. I know we joke that John Pena was around, but John has a lot of institutional knowledge about
sure.
the city. He's been around since it's incorporated.
Yeah.
So he helped shape all of that. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing now also, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that they won't be built for another 20, 30 years.
Right. Or completed.
Or completed, I should say.
Right.
Yeah.
Or even started.
Yeah. But those projects are approved now.
Yeah.
Right? And some of that stuff, I'll be retired maybe by then. Or and I can say, oh, yeah, I remember voting on that, right?
Yeah, and we've had that. We've had past council members who, when we've completed a project, we invite them out because we know that their voice was part of that, those 5 back then that got that project rolling. Right. And I think that, we look at that and every new set of council members, we're just fine tuning, right? You're just fine tuning as you go along, and then whoever is coming in after you guys is going to fine tune what you've already done. And
we have to try to kind of guess what's going to happen in 20, 30 years. But also, so whenever we do the ordinances and whatnot, we have to leave that flexibility for future councils to be able to modify anything we've done because if it doesn't exist anymore in 20, 30 years from now. They have to be able to change it.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of wrapping up, I want to leave you with this question. How do you feel your personal experiences and love for La Quinta influence your decisions and priorities as a city leader? You kind of talked about it a little bit right now, but let's expand on that just a little bit because now we're talking less probably project focused and more kind of, I always say, the heart of a leader.
Yeah.
And so how do your personal experiences and just your love for the city, how does that play a part?
Yeah, well, I hope that every person that ever runs for office is because of their love for that area, right? That region that they're representing. And everything I do, it really is with that mindset of how does this keep La Quinta the gem of the desert that it is, and ensure that it stays thriving.
Yep.
As time goes on, right? And that I don't want to be complacent, right? And just sit still, like, okay, La Quinta's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? My job is done. Hands done. That's as good as it's going to get because it's not. We talked about technology and everything evolving. The city has to evolve with it.
Right.
But it's always that fine balance, and you always hear growth, but you want to maintain the beauty that the city is. You want to grow responsibly, right?
Correct.
It's a cliche, and we hear it, but it's true. You want to grow responsibly because I want to grow, but I don't want to overgrow to where it takes away from why people came here in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? So everything that I do is for the love of my country and my city. And whenever I make a decision, it's always in her best interest of the city of La Quinta.
No, for sure.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that responsibility because not a lot of people want to do it or can do it.
Yeah. There's for sure. I think you guys have the weight of the world, if you will, on your shoulders. But I think the other part too that I appreciate, and I think our residents appreciate, and maybe some don't even know, but that all 5 of you are incredibly accessible. And we as a city open up our doors to City Hall, to our residents, and we've even done it to folks who are not residents, to go, you have questions about something, come on in.
All right.
We're going to walk you through the process. We're going to show you what's going on. In every capacity that we can, but that includes council.
Yeah.
We've heard where a resident will come in, has questions about something, and sometimes council's not able to speak to it if you're, like you said, you have a full-time job, right?
Right.
You're working or whatnot, or you're out of town or whatever, but there's always going to be somebody here, whether it's a staff member or city manager
Right.
or mayor or council, who's going to be here for our community, because that is what a public servant does.
Absolutely.
And so I really appreciate, and I think it's another reason why we are the gem of the desert, is because when we have residents or community members that need further information or education, we never shut our doors on them. It's always open. There's always opportunity. And I think it's another reason why we are called the gem of the desert.
And, we're transparent. If you
100%.
want to know, every council meeting, we approve what was spent, right? If you ever want to know what we're spending our money on, just look at our agenda item, and it's on there,
it's on
our
the
registry, and
listed very
accurately.
Yeah.
You can see exactly what was spent, and it's just accessible, even on our website. If you want to look at our budget, it's
sure.
What I like is that it's broken down in English,
Yes.
and not in
Yeah,
accounting terms.
some people don't speak numbers.
Yeah,
So I
and
totally
it's
get that.
broken down really simple to take a look at it, because we have nothing to hide, right?
Yeah.
We're very transparent that way. And I will say, going back to something else, that I never take for granted the responsibility that the residents have entrusted in me.
Yeah.
To being their council member. And so,
I love that. We're going to leave it at that.
Oh, I love it. All right.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we're looking forward to State of the City, but this is another reason why our mayor and council love La Quinta.
That's right. The Gem of the Desert.
Yep.